The story of Rome begins not with marble, but with mud, not with emperors, but with shepherds. On the banks of the Tiber River, amid 7 humble hills, small villages joined together to survive wolves, storms, and rival tribes. No one then could imagine that this gathering of huts would one day rule the known world. But destiny, like the river, kept flowing toward greatness. As centuries turned, the Romans learned order. They built roads where others left paths, walls where others feared invasion, and laws where others trusted chaos. Their earliest kings rose and fell, and the people learned that even power needed limits. So, in a bold act unknown to the ancient world, they overthrew their monarchs and created something new. A republic, a system where no man could be king, and the voice of citizens mattered. Inside the Senate, old men in white togas argued about war and peace, justice and ambition. In the forum, merchants, soldiers and poets crossed paths, an arena of ideas as much as trade. And though they quarreled endlessly, out of that noise came stability, a structure that would endure for centuries. Rome was not built in a day. It was built in debate, in discipline, in relentless will. But order alone could not feed an empire. Ambition stirred. When foreign threats rose, the Etruscans in the north, the Samnites in the hills, the Carthaginians across the sea, Rome marched. Not for gold, not even for glory, but for security. At least that's what they told themselves. The Punic Wars changed everything. In the dust of Carthage, Rome found its mirror, another rising power, another vision of control. When Hannibal crossed the Alps with elephants and thundered down upon Italy, Rome trembled, but did not fall. Every defeat forged its resolve. Every loss became a lesson. And when Scipio finally brought Rome's legions to the gates of Carthage, it was the world that trembled. The city burned for days. The salt sowed in its fields was the warning of empire. Cross us and vanish. Now the Mediterranean was no longer a sea. It was a Roman lake. Ships flew the red banners of the Republic. Legions guarded every shore. But victory has a strange price. It teaches arrogance. Generals returned home not as servants of the state, but as masters of armies. And soon the republic that had defeated kings began to birth them again. From this chaos rose figures both brilliant and dangerous: Marius, Sulla, Pompey. Each believed he alone could save Rome. But the world remembers only one who truly tried to reshape it: Julius Caesar. A man of unmatched ambition, of genius wrapped in charm. He conquered Gaul, crossed the Rubicon, and crossed the line of Roman law. His words, his presence, his dream, to unite Rome under a single banner, shook the old order. And though he was loved by the people, the Senate feared that love more than war itself. On the Ides of March, daggers fell. The Republic's guardians struck its heart, believing they were saving it. But in truth, they killed its last chance at peace. In the silence that followed, a new figure emerged, young, patient, calculating, Octavian, who became Augustus. He would not make the same mistake. He gave the Senate back its pride, but kept its power. He spoke of peace while building armies, and through cunning and calm, he forged the Roman Empire. Now the world bowed not to debate, but to decree. Rome entered its golden age, a time of poets and builders, of philosophers and engineers. Under Augustus, marble replaced mud. Temples rose to the heavens, aqueducts carried life to cities, and law flowed like water across continents. From Spain to Syria, the same coin, the same order, the same name, Rome. And with the peace came pride. Roman citizens walked with certainty that to be Roman was to be eternal. Their arenas roared with spectacle, their libraries overflowed with knowledge, their gods seemed close enough to touch. They called it Pax Romana, the Roman peace. But beneath the marble, cracks were forming. Emperors followed Augustus, some wise, some wicked. Tiberius ruled from shadows, Caligula from madness. Nero set fire to fear itself and to Rome. Yet every fall revealed Rome's resilience. From ashes came Vespasian, who built the Colosseum, a symbol of power, of unity, and perhaps of distraction. Because even as crowds cheered the games, beyond the frontiers, new threats gathered. To the north, Germanic tribes whispered of freedom. To the east, the Parthians glimmered like ghosts of Persia. But within Rome itself, the fire of belief began to change. From humble homes, from slaves and soldiers, spread a quiet revolution, a faith not of empire, but of compassion. The rise of Christianity would challenge the very soul of Rome. Centuries passed. Marcus Aurelius, philosopher, emperor, tried to rule with wisdom in an age of decay. His meditations whispered truth, that greatness fades, that power is temporary. And when his death gave rise to Commodus, arrogance returned. The empire split, cracked, and began to bleed from within. Still the roads remained. Still the legions marched. Still the law endured. Because Rome's strength was never just its armies, it was its idea that civilization could be built by design. That law could outlive the sword. Even as barbarians stormed the gates, the spirit of Rome traveled onward, into Byzantium, into the Renaissance, into every nation that learned to write, to reason, to rule. The Senate fell silent, but the words Senatus Populusque Romanus, the Senate and the people of Rome, never vanished. They echo still in the capitals of the world, in the architecture of justice, in the rhythm of every republic born after it. And so the glory of Rome was not its conquest, it was its continuation. From the dust of the Forum to the domes of St. Peter's, from Latin scrolls to modern law, Rome remains, unseen yet unforgotten. Its story reminds us that empires rise not by strength alone, but by vision, and that even when their walls crumble, their ideas endure. Next time, we journey east, to the dawn of Persian power, where light and order spread from a new empire, carrying forward the torch that Rome once held.